Hi everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of Spinning Plates. First up today we have Most Embarrassing Moment by Carla Someone. The other day, I actually had one of the most embarrassing moments of my entire 3 years of working at my restaurant. This isn't a rant about a customer, it's honestly a rant about me. I don't know how I even did this. I've been working so many doubles lately I forget what day it is, so that probably didn't help. I greeted a woman at my booth and asked what she wanted to drink. She said, "I'll have a Coke," and she'll probably have a Diet Coke, pointing to the empty seat across from her. I guess she's waiting for someone. Cool, sounds good. I give her a drink and then go hang out somewhere else in the restaurant, sort of near the host stand because it was slow. This is currently my only table in the entire restaurant, and we're at shift change, so I'm the only server on this side of the restaurant. I see a middle-aged man walk in and tell the host they're meeting someone. I didn't hear them say this, but I see them walk up to my booth. I thought, oh, I guess it's a guy meeting her instead. I walk right up to the table, look him in the eyes and say, "How are you doing today, sir?" Trying to be all polite. I work at a sports bar. I should have just said literally anything else. They both are silent for a beat and stare at me, and the, I'm assuming, daughter does a weird laugh and they both go, "Ma'am." I immediately shrunk into myself because I then realized, too, it was in fact a woman. Just with a pixie cut and dressed not very feminine. I think she was wearing a polo and long shorts. I had no idea what to say except, "I'm so sorry." There's simply no coming back from that. The woman goes, "I could hold that against you, but I won't." And I again apologize and try to say, "I'm so sorry. I saw the short hair from the back," because she was facing away from me when I was walking towards the booth. I saw her come in at a bit of a distance and fully mistook her. She then goes, "Well, some people have short hair. Some people have long hair." And then I said, "You're absolutely right. I am so sorry." I was absolutely mortified and anxious the rest of the time I served them. I had like 2 other awkward interactions with them because I was so nervous. I said something to make her kind of giggle towards the end of the meal, so I felt 0.01% better. But I was humiliated. I don't even know how I did that. You know when you're in go mode, shift after shift, and start saying awkward things to customers, sometimes because you just kind of malfunction. Or when a table does something that goes off your script and you immediately glitch. This was that, tenfold. I refrained from using any type of identifier the rest of their meal because I even felt like saying "ma'am" from that point on would just make it seem like I was trying too hard. Anyway, I'm sure those people think I'm an absolute dumbass, rightfully so. They left and ended up tipping me slightly below 20%, which again, rightfully so. I wouldn't have even been mad for getting no tip. I felt so bad I didn't charge her for a drink and considered just paying for her dessert too, but again I didn't want to make it seem like I was harping on it and trying so hard to make up for it. I just tried to pretend it didn't happen. So that's my absolutely humiliating and humbling story. I promise I'm not a bad server, but that was probably the most awkward interaction I've ever had in or out of my job, and I think you handled it the right way. You realized there was no point going on about it, because really at that point, had you done so, it would have been about making you feel better. You just let the ladies enjoy their meal, and that was the sensible thing to do. Okay, next up today is Worst Day Serving by Ended with C Family. Today I had the worst shift I've ever had. Truly, I don't know what happened or why it was so bad. I've had busier days where the kitchen was much more of a mess and my coworkers were much more of a drag. We knew coming in that it was going to be rough. We have been short servers and we only had 6, one of them being fresh off training and only allowed 2 tables. I work at a breakfast restaurant, and the way ours is set up, we have sides. So on one side, they had 3 servers and broke it into 3 sections, and on our side, we had 3 servers broken into 3 sections. Normally on Fridays we have 9 servers. We only need 8 really, but 9 are scheduled in case of a call-in. This really shouldn't have been a huge deal because we are a relatively small location. And I've run one side of the restaurant with just me and another strong server before completely smoothly. However, today was a disaster. On our side, the fresh server had her 2 tables. I had only 6. So seriously, not even that bad. I've certainly juggled more. And the other server, a head server, had 9. The new girl was struggling and required a lot of hand-holding, had a lot of questions, didn't know her plates and struggled to run her food, was ringing things in wrong and not checking on her tables enough, or preparing things like coffee and condiments. The head server was struggling too. She had multiple walkouts from tables she couldn't get to. For myself, I really felt like I was doing okay. I was overwhelmed when the rush started, but I got quadruple sat. But I was managing, and then my 5th table completely threw me off, and that's when my crash-out began. They started off as a 4-top, got their drinks and order in. They were like, "Actually, we have 2 more coming," and then they wanted me to grab coffee for them, so I did. Messed with my flow a little, but no biggie. Nothing is ever completely smooth, right? But after I go to drop off their coffee, this lady is on the phone with the other guests. And now it's a party of 7, she informs me, and wants a chair added to their end of the table, which is meant for only 6. She has me stand there and explain the weekday deals we have to her. Okay, no biggie, right? And then she explains it to the person she's on the phone with, and I'm like, "Alrighty, I'll be back in just a bit to get that order from you." Because at this point I've been sat with another table and need to greet them and get drinks. And she's like, No, I'm ready now, let me put their order in." But proceeds to explain and debate with the person on the phone what they should order, and then wants to make substitutions, and I kindly explain that we can't make substitutions on deals. And then she's going on, trying to decide what to put in for the other guests for, I kid you not, 5 minutes. And we all know how important 5 minutes is. I finally get the rest of their order in, and I'm able to go greet my other table, grab drinks, and get their order, and now I need to start running these other tables' food out to them. But the rest of the problem table's party has arrived, and they'd want juices now. So I prep a tray with glasses for them and refills for my other tables that I can see need refills. I run 2 tables' food, then come back, finish the drinks, then run the rest of my food, and at this point, the problem table's food is ready, so I run that next. And they don't like their eggs. They say they are dry. No biggies, except my manager is in the kitchen, and I truly love him. He's a great manager, and very understanding when I have to call in because of sick kids, and always approves my request for time off, but when you ask for a remake, he makes you go to take the food off their plate and show it to him, and then tries to blame anyone else for whatever problem with the food is, instead of just fixing it. Like literally, I do not care who's at fault when there is a food issue, I just need it remade how the customer wants, so I have a happy table. So remake their food for scrambled eggs takes a ridiculous amount of time, because I have to advocate for a remake first. At this point, I'm just completely in the weeds. Tables need to check out. My manager is also yelling that he needs runners. When food is missing or wrong, he argues and is generally a jerk about it, and I'm like, I'm literally trying to help you. You say I'm one of your strong servers? I swear to God, I wanted to quit. I have never had a day like this where I literally just wanted to cry and walk away, screw it all. Genuinely now, I'm like, maybe I need to work harder on getting out of this industry sooner. Because I'm currently in school and intend to go to law school, but maybe I should get certified as a paralegal or something, so I can be free from arguing with people about freaking eggs. That's another thing. Normally I can calm myself down and be like, it's just breakfast, literally, who cares? Because in the grand scheme of things, that's all it is, and not a big deal, but today it overcame me. It's just also embarrassing. And I feel like I'm not a good server, as if I have to be perfect all the time, and have perfect customers to be on the list of strong servers, I don't know. I just really need to rant with people who get it. Whoever got this far, thank you for listening and to my probably jumbled nonsense. Okay, and that brings us to the third story today, which is, what would you do about an autistic customer that has feelings for you? I'm honestly getting frustrated and don't really know what to do without hurting his feelings. There's an autistic man that comes to hang out at my work because he wants to chat with me because we have similar interests. For a while, the people that used to work my current shifts would give him free fries and a soda for helping, like opening the door for people and pushing chairs in. I continued the tradition until my manager said we can't do that anymore. Every now and then the guy would ask, sometimes I would pay for the items, and at a certain point I had to start giving firm no's. I'm at work to make money, not spend it. This guy is not a paying customer at all, he just wants to hang out. So last year at some point he asked me out. I said no. He asked if there was ever going to be a chance. I again said no. Nicely, mind you. I'm not heartless. I had also started seeing someone, so I leaned on that. He was visibly upset. He left and apparently came in later that night, asking a to-go girl if they were single. He's my age, mid-30s. The one he asked was 16. Ooh, now we're getting into dangerous territory. She said no. He was embarrassed finding out her age. Excellent. So he asked if she had an older sister. I mean, I guess I admire that he keeps trying. The girls told me the next day, and I asked them if they wanted me to tell the manager for them, or if they wanted to tell him. A lot of these young girls are afraid to speak up because they don't want anyone to be upset, so I play HR sometimes. They asked me to say something, but I told them the manager would want to talk to them about it. So we all had a group chat and the manager said we had to kick the guy out. Of course, this happened during my shift. He came in and the manager asked to talk to him outside, saying that he needed to stay away for a while. The guy cried and said he comes here because he can't afford a therapist. Don't track the logic there, but okay. Yet, he somehow has more video games than I have. Months went by and honestly, it was kind of nice not having to entertain someone. I guess one night he stopped in and asked if he was allowed back, and the manager said sure as long as he leaves everyone alone. He's been better, but he's given me a few drawings, like around my birthday. Then he gave me a whole notebook that's one long love letter. It's in my car, and I haven't actually read the whole thing, and kind of don't want to toss it. He gets visibly upset, pouty when I'm not able to talk to him. He doesn't really let me talk much, mostly just talks a lot about whatever game he's playing, which is fine in short bursts, but he doesn't understand social cues. I think he probably understands a lot more than he's letting on. I don't go into work to hang out with people. I love seeing my regulars and catching up, but I'm not hired company nor therapy. Today he came in and showed me a note he wrote on his phone that said seeing me helped him from feeling lonely and suicidal. Yeah, you need to get this guy permanently banned from the restaurant. I don't know what I'm supposed to do with that. I said I was sorry, and hope he's okay, but this is all a bit much. It's been a bit much, honestly. He's not creepy at all, he just really doesn't understand. I know many autistic people, I have known many autistic people over the years. It's not an excuse for being a creepy stalker, and that's what you have here. It's becoming a bit of a trend, especially among men. They're using an autism diagnosis as excuse for poor behavior. He obviously understands that he's not allowed to be there. He's not allowed to speak to you the way he does, to do the things he does, because he was able to stay away for a while before asking if he could come back and immediately starting in on the inappropriate behavior again. You made it firmly clear to him you weren't interested, and yet he still tries to pursue you. He understands. He's just hoping that you'll be too nice to tell him off again. And the fourth story today. A normal payday or just a test by a revengeful cargo. I think I accidentally requested permission to use this story twice, and I got permission to use it, both times. This happened years ago. I was offered a couple of jobs as exec chef at hotels in another province. Both invited me for a week tryout to the hotel and for them to try me out. The first one was a wash. Didn't like the hotel, the owners, or the town. The second one was good. Big hotel, nice town, friendly townspeople and employees. The GM was an exec chef. Did a banquet for them and a couple of special events, got a letter of recommendation from the owners. I thought I might take that one. The only problem was the kitchen staff weren't that skilled. It was in the Alberta oil patch where salaries were huge. The kitchen staff were the ones that weren't good enough, or couldn't hack it in the oil camps. I thought it would be a bit of a problem, but it wasn't the first time I apprenticed kitchen staff. Then payday rolls around. Da, da, da. The GM and exec chef was on a business trip. 6:30 a.m. I get a call from the front desk. None of the kitchen staff showed up for work. Breakfast was supposed to start at 6 a.m. Can I help? So I throw on my whites, grab my kit, and run down to the kitchen. Luckily, the day's prep was done the day before. The kitchen got slammed. Word went out all over town that I was working alone and handling it. People were standing so they could look into the kitchen and watch me. God forbid they help. I was having to grab servers to run dirty dishes through the machine. The front desk continuously called the back-of-house staff to get them to work. Nobody was answering. Turned out they were all on the same party the night before and were either still partying or still drunk. Of course, the GM was no help because he was 5 hours away in another city. 9:30 p.m. rolls around, and I tell the front of house I've had enough and to close the restaurant. 10 p.m. was the usual closing, quite reasonable. 6:30 a.m. to 9:30 p.m. non-stop, no breaks. Turned out it was their highest one-day sales on the restaurant ever, $9,000. I go back to my room exhausted. Later I'm talking to one of the front desk staff on the phone who tells me this was normal. They all got drunk and buggered off every payday. 3 a.m. I went to the front desk, grabbed a luggage cart, went back to my room, loaded my luggage, went back through the lobby, and hopped into a cab. I wasn't being quiet or sneaking. I found out later the night auditor got crap because he never heard or saw anything. Needless to say, I didn't take the job. Don't know what they ended up doing, but I know they advertised for a long time. I did get a nice letter from the owners, though, and a paycheck for the week, including all the overtime from that day. That was a very smart decision because I think we all know that if you did it once, they'd have expected every payday. And final story for today is people who don't open the menus until they've been greeted or their party has arrived, by the Damn Bandito, aka the soon-to-be world-famous rapper No Peso. I will also link to their SoundCloud account in the description. I might throw it up on screen as well, we'll see. Usually boomers. I wonder how it is that you've stayed alive so long. At four-way stops, for instance, do you wait until every single other car in every row has gone until you go? Or how about tax time? Do you wait until the IRS audits you? How about health stuff? Do you wait until the doctor calls you? Or do you wait for him to show up to your house? Remember the days when they used to do that. Or people who don't know what soft drink they want. It's either Pepsi or Coke products, brother. In America, there's 2 branded options owned by the same 5 companies, and you've been drinking them at restaurants all your life. On your first day on Earth, you sucked the breast. So, I hazard to say that you know how and what you drink. Why pretend like you're not going to get Diet Pepsi the same as you've done the last 500 times? It's amazing to me. What are your sides? Well, Barbara, our sides are located on the side of the menu under the side of the page that has the word sides above the section where the sides are listed. Well, they're not mine, they're the company's, I say, in cheeky rebuttal while not answering the question. I flip the page and point, and they always, without a doubt, go, "Oh," as if it's their first time reading anything. My vision tunnels, and the tentacles of existential nihilism wrap around the edges of my mind as I stare down at this person, the human before me that just said, "Oh." What do you recommend? I've been doing this for 10 years, Barbara, and you've been doing this all your life. And by this I mean asking my kind what we recommend, and then ignoring us after a 3-minute upsell while proceeding to get a burger, no garden, house sauce on the side. Do you have military discounts? Yes. The discount you got on the education and benefits my taxes paid for after you saved all the oil rigs and poppy fields from the explosive sand people, and you gave them that sweet democracy. Oh, we thought you were paying the check. I'll kill you, Bob. I have a belt on, and there are to-go bags in the back. And I can kill you quicker than your wife can call the police. The grip on my pen tightens, and I can hear that G2 crack as I feel the muscles in my face lock in place. Oh, we thought you were buying. I often wonder what these people see. The smile of a man who sometimes wonders if he has nothing to lose. The smile of a man who frequents the confessional, and whose priest often asks, "Why don't you find another career?" The money's too good, Padre, I say, wiping my tears, and I just really don't want to go to trade school. But that brings me back to my original point. Why don't people open the menu right off rip? And that brings us to the end of today's video. Big thanks to everyone who allowed me to use their stories. And if you would like to support the channel, you can do so by signing up for my Patreon page, which is linked down in the description. There's also a link to my merchandise store, which will take you over to Teespring, where you can find mugs, hoodies, possibly hats. I forget if I put hats on there. Go take a look and then you'll see. The hoodies are quite nice, if I do say so myself. I put extra effort into those. And if you do want to support through Patreon, that gets you early access to the videos that month. It sounds very professional when I say that. Early access. I think that's everything for now, so we'll move on to Hellfreezer's question of the day. And today's question is... let's keep it food related, as it is a Spinning Plates video. Do you have a favourite kind of rice, or a way to prepare rice? Like it occurred to me the other day, I haven't bought extra long basmati rice for a while. Usually get a nice big bag and it lasts me a while. Haven't had it for a while. I've just been kind of surviving off, because I do eat a lot of rice, of the cheapo store brand stuff that's like less than 50p a bag, because I buy a lot at a time. I've usually got 3 bags at a time in there. But yeah, I've been craving basmati rice lately, so I'm going to have to get that. Did have jasmine rice a little while back, I think, and it was okay, it was pleasant. But let me know what you think in a comment below. And before we go, we'll take a look at the answer of the day from a previous video. And today's answer came from Spinning Plates 282, and it was something you think people use as a crutch, be it in cooking or anywhere else in life. And I just realized as I was checking the answer, I'm wearing literally the same t-shirt in that video. It was like 2 weeks ago. It has been washed, I assure you. It'll get washed after this. Today's answer comes from Great Autumn. Coriander and lemon would be the main ones for me, especially in salads or things like couscous or falafel. Falafel. Haven't had that for a little while. They're relatively cheap and make the food sound nicer and look more appealing. But they often completely overpower the other flavors. In sweet foods, I find that cinnamon is either over or underused. I am also guilty of this. I feel called out because I'm going to be baking cinnamon scones later. Also, adding rocket to a perfectly nice burger is practically blasphemous in my book. Thank you very much for your answer. And with that, I'm going to head off for now and enjoy the rest of my weekend. So until next time, thank you very much for watching, and take very good care of yourself.